Field. By the way, the Gas House Gang happens at 12 o'clock, and this is Ollie Day. We will have manager Oliver Marmol joining the show, Ackerman, Bernie, and me. So again, that will get started at 12 o'clock. On the show today, we're going to talk to Mark Sweeney. We'll talk Cardinals baseball with him. He's with FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. So he'll be on the show at 10:30. But prior to that, Dave Simons going to talk about the $1,000 baby bonus with Dave Simons.
That's coming up. The Trump accounts, which I didn't know about until a couple of weeks ago, and kind of interesting exactly how that works. But as you mentioned, Ollie Marmol at 12:30. Do you know what they call that?
I don't know what you call it.
It's called appointment radio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. That means people are setting their alarms to remind themselves that at 12 o'clock they got to be here.
But the good news is you don't need to set your alarm if you just listen to us.
Right.
Until then.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
And we do want to hear from you. You guys were awesome yesterday with our midlife conversation with Michael Kelly, because Ranji was doing the duty of the jury, which we'll get to.
It was duty.
It was the duty of the jury. Yep. And so we had our midlife conversation, kind of. Maybe you could call it the umbrella conversation. Are you where you thought you would be? Michael's awesome because he's very honest, talking about the things that he thinks about and worries about. He just turned 50, and he's single, and he thinks about things like, I don't have kids. Who's going to take care of me when I get old, right? Because a lot of times, we're all, not me, but we're taking care of our parents
right
at that age. And you think, well, if you don't have kids, who's going to take care of you? Anyway, we talked about jobs. We had people call in talking about career changes in their 40s. Sometimes you get married. Sometimes you get divorced. Really interesting. Today, we're going to have Annie Fry from 97.1 and Trisha Everdeen also from, the FM side of things.
She works here for Odyssey.
And me talking about where we each are when it comes to kids in our lives, because it's a very weird age. You can have a little baby at 44, or you can have a kid in college at 44.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And we had a text message that came in before the show even started, and it says this. I'm 45. My wife is 46. We have 3 great boys. I love them all. We both have good jobs, not leaving them for 20 years. Don't plan on moving. Love my house. Sometimes wonder, though, is this it? Just seems like a rat race sometimes. I'm very happy, maybe a little bored.
That's a good...
So that's the kind of thing that we're, wanting to hear from you, how you feel at this point.
Again, like the caller we had, a woman called. Yesterday was her birthday, was her 44th birthday. And she said she had an epiphany that she had lived half her life, basically. It had gone by fast, but she was unhappy. And she said, she didn't think I only have half my life left. She thought, wow, I have half of my life left. I have a whole lot left. I want to be happy. And she made changes. To make sure that she had happiness to pursue and adventure in the second half of her life.
It's very difficult to do at this point of your life to make any kind of massive change. That's why 99% of people don't. It's just really, really tough to do that.
It is, but it isn't in the sense that you'll never be as young as you are today. And I think it is really hard to make that change when you're 40. But then when you are 60, you'll be like, I wish I had made that change when I was 40.
Right. I'm saying psychologically it's different. It's hard to do it. It's hard to talk yourself into doing it, whatever it is, and then go ahead and execute it. Just real tough to do.
Speaking of doing it, how was jury duty?
Well, all right. So I did. I'm not saying that I am the best American. What I am saying is I am definitely a good one because I reported to jury duty yesterday, although you have to, otherwise you're in contempt and you go to jail. So I did go. I showed up. I got there probably a little earlier than I needed to, but I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess things up so that I wasn't taken away in cuffs. But then I thought about it, like all these people who are coming in here, all walks of life. I guarantee you there's a couple of real doofuses coming into this room who probably show up 30 minutes late. But you can't do that. They lock the doors after about, I think they give you like a 15-minute grace
So
period.
if you show up 30 minutes late, you would be in contempt of court.
I think so.
And you could be arrested.
So here's what happened yesterday. They give you a number to call the night before. It's after 4:30 on Sunday. This is in the city. I don't know what it's like in the county or anywhere else, St. Charles. I'm not sure. In the city, they give you this phone number. You call the number, and they will tell you, if they need you tomorrow or not. So they needed us tomorrow. I showed up yesterday, there for a while. Everything's fine. They didn't really talk to us. We checked in. Each one of us checked in. Probably about 100, 150 people in the room. And after a while, they said, folks, we're in a holding pattern.
Okay.
So if you need a smoke break, you can go out and get a smoke break right now. So a few people went out and got a smoke break. When they came back in about a half hour later, they said, you can all go home now.
Oh.
That was it. That was it. No trial.
Oh.
I was kind of, I didn't want to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not alone. Most people do not want to do jury duty. I'm sure they don't. And even fewer want to actually be picked for a trial, because that means it's several days or weeks or whatever that you are occupied with this trial.
And maybe sequestered.
Sequestered. You never know.
This could be the next OJ trial.
But once I got in there, I have to tell you, part of me really wanted to get picked for something. Yeah, well, I wanted.
Because you feel if you're not picked, like, well, why am I not picked?
Except
don't you think I'm a good judge of character?
Right.
Don't you think I can figure out a case?
Don't you think I can decide who killed the cat? You know?
Well, what's interesting is you were all there, 150 of you or whatever it was, and you were all dismissed. Does that mean the guy
we don't know.
Guilty or
they
pled?
didn't say. Here's the thing: they didn't say anything about a case. My assumption was, and we should talk to Brad Young about this. My assumption was that they bring all these people in for maybe various cases. And so they're going to pick a handful of people for one case, handful of people for another case, whatever. Maybe it was just one case and they were picking through 100, 150 people. But whatever it was, they didn't explain it to us. There was no judge. We never saw anybody like that. We just sat there and then they told us to go home. That was the whole day.
I always thought it was one case because the whole thing with the jury pool is that the lawyer, both the defense lawyer, and the prosecuting attorney,
no attorneys, no nothing.
They get to approve or disapprove of each juror. They get so many vetoes.
Yes.
Not that guy, not that guy, not that guy, not that guy.
Right.
They get so many vetoes, but that would be then for one case. So I just always assumed when you went to jury duty, they were deciding one case. But you said they didn't even ask you, are any of you a convicted felon?
Nope.
Never once even, they never even got to that part.
Didn't ask anybody any questions at all. We showed up, showed the summons.
Unbelievable.
They marked it down. They told you, go have a seat. That was it. And then at the end, they gave us $12.
Wow.
I'm $12 richer because of yesterday.
You know that's not enough to buy? A latte and a turkey sandwich from Starbucks. I can tell you that.
But
it is not enough.
You can get the latte and then make up the difference. You can make up the difference. Just get the latte and whatever's left over, you got to pay 50 cents because that's how much a latte costs now. Everything's gone up.
A cake pop. You could get a latte and a cake pop. So that's
I would just say
interesting.
This. The experience was totally easy, probably because I didn't have to get into a jury.
Well, yeah, and they didn't even ask you, do you love cops? Do you hate cops? Are you a criminal? Was your family in prison?
Nope. And I was looking forward to all of that because I was looking forward to saying, to thinking, okay, what can I say in response to this that doesn't make me look like a terrible person, but maybe a bad juror?
Right.
You know?
Well, who was it we were talking to yesterday? I think you were in the room because you stopped by, which was like having a friend stop by after jury duty. Mm-hmm. You stopped by the office and someone said that there was maybe a room of 100 people. And when the judge or whoever it is asked, are any of you convicted felons? Like half the room stood up and left.
That's right. Well, that didn't happen. The only bad thing about yesterday, I will say this, is there was a man sitting a couple of rows behind me, and he was sucking on hard candy the whole time. And you know the sound of hard candy rattling around in teeth, and then
Ew, stop!
And then and then I was like, all right,
And it clacks.
Okay,
it was
clacking around against his teeth.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, he's going to be done with this piece soon. And then he just popped another one. This dude, just a never-ending string of hard candy. This guy must have one of those hard candy necklaces. But you just taking bits off it. Oh, my gosh, this guy. That was the only bad thing about yesterday.
And hard candy is kind of a commitment when you're second on the hard candy.
Yeah, I mean, you can get to the end and chew up the rest and crunch it up, but that's hard to do.
It sticks in your teeth. And
anyway, so I did my duty. I'm great. No need to thank me. I was happy to do it. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, 314-436-7900. This texter says if they sent you home, that means they settled all the cases for the day, so they didn't need any jurors. Well, there you go.
They settled all the cases by 11 a.m.?
Damn. Wow. Let's go. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, with you until 12 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX.
The heat's really been extreme last week or so. I have a wife that's going through change of life, and she woke me up at 3 a.m. and said there's something wrong with the air conditioner. I checked the thermostat, and it's set at 66, and it is saying 66. Like we set it every single night. I said, okay, how do you feel? She goes, okay, well, as long as it's 66. And then within 2 minutes, all the covers are back on her, and she says she is freezing. I said, honey, the air conditioner isn't broke. Your thermostat is broke. So if you're living that way, my advice is this. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but here's what I do. I keep my laughter inside. It is real what they're feeling. You don't need to call me. You can say you called me, but you don't need to call me. Save your money. This is Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. God bless.
Hey there, cats and kittens. It's Brian from The Commercial Break, the mediocre comedy podcast where my best friend Chrissy and I attempt to make sense of the world. We talk about the absurd, the ridiculous, and the stuff no one asked for, like internet weirdos, pickup artists, and why everyone is obsessed with crystals and colonics. It's all got to stop. The show is free, it's frequent, and it's probably not for everyone. You can go to tcbpodcast.com, subscribe at youtube.com/The Commercial Break, or check out the show wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you on the next commercial break, and best to you.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX, sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Tuesday has no feel. Monday has a feel. Friday has a feel.
Sunday has a feel.
I feel Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, shut up, the both of you.
Well, Chris Ranji is back from jury duty. He and everyone else, they were dismissed.
Were you worried about me?
Well, personally, I was hoping that it would be a long and complicated case for which you would be selected, that you would be sequestered, and there would be zero consensus on the jury. That's what I was hoping for.
I thought that I might end up in a violent crime case, and I was envisioning, the guy who, I don't know where this was. It wasn't here, but it was somewhere, and the judge was reading something to the man. He was being put away, and he took a running start and jumped over the bench and tackled her.
Yeah.
I was thinking that could happen to me in the jury. Man could just decide that he's had enough and just take a running start and dive right into me.
You were smart not to wear your hat to jury duty because you would not be allowed to wear a hat. I went to a trial one time.
Although I do think, if I'm not mistaken, because I gave the turnaround look like, hey, why are you making so much noise? The guy eating the hard candy,
had a hat.
I think he had a hat on.
Okay, that's not good. Maybe that's why you all got dismissed out of disgust.
Maybe.
Because I went to a trial one time where you can go in support of someone. And so it was me and 200 close friends. We all went downtown to the courthouse in support of this guy. But the judge walks in and there's one person in this packed, it was standing room only in this room. There was one person with a hat. Now, it wasn't a baseball cap. It was kind of a nice fedora hat. And the judge said, "You do not wear a hat in my courtroom." And that guy, he's like, "You can take off your hat right now or, the bailiff will escort you out."
Wow.
It was pretty, I was nervous. I had to double check to make sure I didn't have a hat on. But I'm glad you survived.
Yeah, I made it.
Ranj,
I also, and maybe you were about to bring this up, but I know it's been a day.
That's what I was going to bring up because I wanted to know if you had any final banana thoughts before we finally move on.
I have banana thoughts all the time. Let me tell you a thing about the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
It is such a fun show. The whole thing is fun. It's 2 hours. I mean, a little bit longer, but the game is 2 hours itself. They don't go beyond the 2 hours. It is the marketing job that man, Jesse Cole, the guy who wears the yellow tuxedo and he gets on the microphone and he makes announcements. The marketing job he has done has to be one of the greatest American marketing jobs in history.
Yeah.
It has to be. I don't know many things that could beat that because he's taken this minor league independent baseball team that nobody cares about and he has made it so they sell out Major League Baseball stadiums and football stadiums, and I don't they're playing in Norfolk, Virginia this weekend, sold out. Philly, 2 dates, sold out. Then they go to Minnesota, Twin Cities, sold out. Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Denver, Chicago, all sold out. It's insanity what they have done, and everybody is having a good time. And I was impressed with the amount of people, and I would say it's at least half of the stadium that showed up already wearing Bananas gear.
So
there were people with jerseys and T-shirts, and I got a hat ahead of time. All these people were into it before they got there.
I saw a video yesterday that I had not seen before. Of course, we saw Adam Wainwright pitching, the crowd go wild. We saw Lance Lynn. But what I had not seen is, hours before the game in Ballpark Village.
Oh, the crowd in the plaza there.
The crowd in the stage area singing songs, milling about Ballpark Village. And I feel like 30% of the crowd, maybe 40% of the crowd was banana yellow.
Crazy.
There was so much banana yellow in that crowd. I could not believe how many people were downtown for that game.
It was just fun.
Yeah.
The whole thing, they do put on a good show. It's the kind of thing that I would go see it again.
I was a little jealous, actually. I was jealous that I missed Friday night with Adam Wainwright being the surprise pitcher, but then just you texting, and you're a curmudgeon. Do you know how fun something has to be
for me to tell you how fun it is?
To text this, they do a really good job. This is fun.
It's amazing.
This guy, yeah. So it is quite a phenomenon. I agree with you. A marketing genius. Quick note, couple of texts. 314 says that Chris was not on jury duty. he took a long weekend to visit his family.
Yeah, so what? Leave
in
me alone.
Chicago.
Leave me alone.
Another 314 says they were on jury duty for a murder trial in St. Louis when the OJ verdict came down.
Holy crap. Don't you feel, I would feel like I was robbed, because if you have to be on trial during that and you miss all of the, because you're probably in court while all of that is going on, you're missing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would suck.
Was the rest, I mean, and also then you feel pressure as a juror to do something extraordinary.
Well, listen, if I had gotten on the jury, if there was a jury for me to get on, I don't think I would have been there to make a statement. Just trying to.
Well, you never know. Maybe you would feel pressure after the OJ verdict comes down and now all the jurors are looking at each other saying, we got to compete with that. What are we going to do?
What if I sat down?
Yeah.
And I just, if trial started and I'm on this jury, and as soon as the opening remarks begin, I just blurt out, he did it. What sort of trouble do I get in?
Probably big trouble.
Yeah.
But probably not big enough trouble that you're banned. They would say,
we'll call
now
you back
have
in
to
2
come
years.
back.
That's another thing, too. If I get called back in 2 years and 4 days, I'm going to lose it. Because I've been talking to people who have been living here for 15, 20 years in St. Louis City and have never been called. I've been called twice in 2 years.
Well, the city's unusual. The county.
Stop calling me in for jury duty now.
The county, you might not get called in. Hey, we do want to continue to hear from you. 314-436-7900 is the text line. You can also call in because we have our midday midlife today at 11:30, talking kids with people who have kids, don't have kids, have one kid, a bunch of kids. It's really, like I said, such an interesting age, that 40-ish age. And so Annie Fry from 97.1, Trisha Everdeen down the hall as well will be joining Chris and me in the conversation. So we want to hear from you.
That's right. I'll tell you about my kids I don't have. And
LOL. It's that you think you don't have any kids.
Oh, yeah, I do have that side family in Chicago. That's right. What if it was like...
At least I can't accidentally have kids. I'll know.
Yeah, that's true. Like, whoa, got a kid? Amy Marks, Kors, and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Ozzie Smith ready for the flip, and we're ready to start the season. Here we go.
This is Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, and I'm flipping with excitement over the giveaway on Thursday, July 24th. That night, 20,000 fans 16 and older will take home the first ever legendary backflip bobblehead, featuring me, courtesy of Phillips 66. Don't miss the flipping awesome giveaway. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, July 24th. Secure your tickets and learn more at cardinals.com/promotions.
Hats off to family fun on Sunday, July 27th, when the Birds host the Padres. That day, 20,000 fans, 16 and older, will get a City Connect throw pad courtesy of Quick Trip. And thanks to Haichu, 10,000 kids ages 15 and under will take home a Cardinals hat with custom charms. Upgrade your and your kiddos' game gear. Snag your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
This is Mason Wynn of the Cards. Community America asked me to tell you what it feels like on Profit Payout Day, when our members get a portion of the profits. I'm thinking it probably feels like opening day. Exciting, new, or even better, I bet it feels like playing the star shortstop who turns a game-winning double play. And the fans go wild. They ask for selfies with you and autographs. You get a lifetime supply of free stadium hot dogs. Yep, that's basically what it feels like when you get your profit payout. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Currently it's 83 degrees, but it feels like 101 because it's humid and gross. Partly sunny, very humid today. Could be a thunderstorm in spots, a high of 91. Tonight, clear and uncomfortably humid, a low of 76.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes. Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
The Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, how an innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Joining us is Dr. John DiPersio.
Until very recently, until this paper and a few other groups in the world have sort of developed approaches for T-cell malignancies, there was no hope for patients who relapsed. There were no effective therapies. This is a way of treating these patients that would normally have no other recourse.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
Hospital Sisters Health System isn't just in your community. We're part of it. Expert care and genuine support backed by a network that puts your health first. HSHS, connected to our community, committed to your health. Visit hshs.org/caring.
Tonight, the Cards, the Rockies. Cameron Total Access 645. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Kramer, I've been reviewing your work. These reports you handed in, it's almost as if you have no business training at all. I don't know what this is supposed to be. There's just no way that we could keep you on.
I don't even really work here.
That's what makes this so difficult.
Gen Z, Raj. Gen Z is causing issues in the workplace. They are doing a number of things like revenge quitting, career catfishing, office ghosting. But I would say for me, the most shocking Gen Z statistic out there is that over 1 in 3 Gen Zers have accepted a job, like applied for a job, interviewed for the job, accepted the job, and then not shown up for the first day of work for no reason whatsoever. They just decide, meh, it's not for me.
So 33%, 1/3.
Yes.
That seems high. Are we
It
sure?
does seem high.
And this is is this the YouGov poll that we're talking about?
I don't think this was YouGov because this was a survey that was conducted in the UK.
Okay. Okay. I do think that there are particular challenges that exist with this younger generation that maybe did not exist prior. But I sort of, every time there's a story like this, where there's, these kids, they don't want to work, they don't want to do this, we have done this before. And I do think there is some element too. We're always complaining about the youngest generation, whatever it is. We complain about millennials, and now millennials are becoming adults, so we don't complain about them as much anymore. And then now we're complaining about Gen Z. We're going to complain about Gen Alpha. So part of me takes all of this with, I have a lot of skepticism toward these criticisms just because we do this every single generation for hundreds of years. We're like, I mean, you could go back and find stories from the early 1900s where somebody's complaining about how young people don't want to work.
Does the data help at all? The fact that this is not some rando complaining in a letters to the editor section.
Well, what's the data from 1900? You know, like I would need to compare it.
Probably we all had like 5 kids and we're working the farm.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like in 1900, I would have to have something to compare
I
it
bet
to.
more
I mean,
people
are
worked
kids...
because kids, they didn't have child labor laws then. So I bet a lot of 7-year-olds were working in 1900.
Well, but the point is it worse now than it was then, or were they having the exact same complaints then, thinking that this is the end of civilization because kids don't want to do anything?
So it says 7% of baby boomers have done this. Granted, they're older now, I guess.
Yeah.
And 11% of Gen Xers have catfished, just not shown up for work. But I think we do have data, and I will say, even if certain things, it's not I know people always go back and say, well, this has always happened. People thought books would be the end of society. People thought television would be the end of society. I get it. But just because an event has happened before, doesn't mean that the event happening again now is, quote, just like it was decades ago. And I say that because of scale. It's all about scale. You could say, well, I know there's 3 people with the Black Death in California now. Every year, 3 people get the bubonic plague in the United States, whatever it is. Well, they had the bubonic plague back in, when was that? The 1200s, 1100s.
1300s was pretty bad.
1300s. Well, of course, we know there's a difference between the 3 people who have the bubonic plague each year and those that had it in 1300s because it's all about scale. When we look at certain behaviors in younger generations, and especially when we look at certain behaviors that have radically changed because of the advent of social media, I think it's absolutely valid to look at the data and say, yes, this is a phenomenon. This is not just like it was when TV was invented, because it's all about scale. It's about accessibility. It's about convenience. My goodness, we know that texting alone, not even social media, but texting alone has changed the way we communicate because human beings evolve their language as communication methods change.
But I don't think that takes away from the argument that we have always kind of done this in the past. And maybe it's true. And I'm not convinced that it is true, but maybe it is true that it is different now and it is worse now and it's accelerated now.
Mm-hmm.
But it could also be that we are just hypersensitive to it because we're living through it now. Like, for example, we kind of talk about kids as if they are idiots, right? Like you hear them talk and they're not making any sense. You could go back and watch interviews from like 1982, like television interviews, or doing a news story, and they're talking to kids in a high school or something, and you think, man, these guys are idiots. And this was 1980, 81. I just saw something. I forgot what the story was. This was just recent. I saw it. I thought, man, idiots. So, like, I mean, we've done this forever.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you talk about scale, and maybe it is worse. I'm just not convinced that it is terribly worse.
It's one of those things where you can talk out of both sides of your mouth. You can say, hey, kids are smart. They're going to figure out if you're a phony. Well, yeah, sometimes, but also, and this was I think it was a psychologist, someone said that and I loved it. Kids are morons. What he meant by that is they're impressionable. That's why we have to be careful with them. That's why we have to be careful with what we expose them to. Kids are impressionable and so forth and so forth.
Now, Amy, that's not to say that the mobile phone thing and the smartphone thing is not a different challenge.
Totally different challenge.
Because it is so accessible. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be more on top of that. And now artificial intelligence, because everybody's going to have access to that too. We should be on top of that. I don't necessarily know if I like the idea of saying these kids are worse than they used to be.
Yeah, I have no problem with it in the sense of we're getting data now. Gen Z is entering the workplace now. And to me, it would be more unusual if Gen Z didn't have issues, because not only is Gen Z a a generation that we know is dealing with social anxiety. They're more connected technologically than ever before, but they're more physically isolated. But Gen Z was also the group that came of age during COVID when everything was shut down. I mean, think of how formative your 10 to 16, that age group, or you want to say, 10 to 18, whatever it may be, when you weren't in school, when you weren't getting together with friends and family. Those daily interactions are partly how we grow and mature as humans. And I think it would be naive to think that all of those shutdowns and wearing the masks and the COVID years didn't greatly affect Gen Z, which was the most impressionable generation at the time of COVID, in their most formative years. So I think it would be more unusual if you didn't see a difference with Gen Z.
You know what, though? I would like to see more research on the COVID shutdowns because it really didn't last that long. I mean, we're talking about a year maybe, but by the early 21, we started to really open things back up again. And actually, a lot of places by the end of 2020 started to open back up. They said, screw this, we're not doing these shutdowns anymore.
But they lasted
so I don't
longer
know
in
that,
different, like colleges. There were students who had 2 or 3 years of college really messed up because on college campuses, they might have been more shut down. We know with different schools, especially giant school districts like LA, which stayed closed for, a year and a half, harmed those.
But it's not like 5
resources.
years. I think we talk about it as if it happened for 5 years, where nobody could do anything for 5 years and we were all stuck at home. We really weren't.
But it was a slow grip, Ranj. Like it really was. It was a slow tightening and a slow loosening of the grip of COVID. The shutdowns, it wasn't like everything was shut down for a year and then nothing was shut down. It took a while to get into the full shutdown.
But everything wasn't even well, that's what I'm saying, is that everything wasn't even everything wasn't even shut down for a year.
I will say,
because we act like there was a pretty swift, abrupt shutdown in March of that year. And that lasted for a few months before some states said, okay, we're not doing this anymore. And so I just don't buy into this. It was like 2 years where people were in their homes. It's just not true.
Well, but it's true, the effect. Like, I don't need to see more data. I've seen the data coming out of the public school system. I've seen the data coming out of
we're talking about
long-term
services. Effects. We don't have that.
Well, but that's what I mean. I don't even know why this is controversial. I think if anything, this is like, oh, wow, look how even something like a few years of COVID affected this younger generation. I don't understand the issue here.
Yeah, but we're talking about temporary versus permanent. It's almost like we talk about it as if that damage that was done will never be undone. And I'm not sure that's the case.
And I would say you can look at it as damage, or you can look at it as, oh, wow, we took for granted what a certain group of kids or what certain age groups learn in certain years. You only have 4 years of high school, but you live a lifetime during them. We took for granted how much they learn in this very condensed amount of time. And there are certain social mores, certain social habits that Gen Z just didn't get from a 30,000-foot view. I mean, I've worked with kids who went through, let's say, a hard time, like a hard family life. And it's weird, like, oh, wow, when maybe there's a traumatic divorce or something that's going on, little things about a dishwasher or getting dressed or whatever it may be. It's hard to describe, but these little things that you kind of pick up as a kid, you learn from a parent that maybe you don't get because there's certain trauma in the home. It's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you got to teach a kid this. You have to teach a kid how to say hello on the phone. You have to teach a kid that, yes, when you're wearing a nice white outfit or your nice church clothes, you have to be extra careful when you get into the car. I mean, I had this specific conversation with a parent saying, we kind of take for granted that he should know all these things, but if no one's taught him this,
well, that's done at home.
That's what I mean. That's at home. But what I'm saying is, in school, there's things that you learn in school. There's interactions that you learn that if you didn't get that even for a year, maybe that was the year that was kind of formative in that one little area.
But you're saying that as somebody who was homeschooled.
I'm saying my example was how 1 year of missed interaction in those very formative years you're going to miss some things that you might have to pick up on. So yes, even if a kid only missed a year and a half of high school, there are probably some things in that year and a half that you would normally learn that they didn't pick up on. Now going back with COVID, different mores have changed, and you realize, oh yeah, he doesn't know how to do. They didn't learn that in that year.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's what the lasting effects. It's not just that damage was done. A lasting effect can be simply an omission of picking up a skill that you normally would have
So
had.
you're saying these skills are lost forever?
Oh my gosh. No, I'm saying.
Well, because I think that's the bigger point, Amy, is
It's you have to teach them later.
Sure.
So that's what I mean. These kids now
setback.
going to work may not know these skills, and it may be harder to learn it later, or maybe like it's weird to teach a 20-year-old how to call and order something online or talk to a customer service rep. It's like, oh wow, you should have learned that a long time ago. Okay, let's work on it.
That's Amy Marks-Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. When we come back, did you see this on 104.1 FM KMOX?
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed, and here's why. It optimizes thyroid function, and it boosts your metabolism 24 hours a day, while you're sleeping too. So you're burning more stored body fat. Also getting that appetite and craving control that I love. You get all-day focused energy with no jitters, so all you need to do is get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. We are proud to recognize Doorways as a building community partner. Doorways helps those who are invisible and ignored by society, people navigating poverty, homelessness, and serious illnesses like HIV. While HIV has become treatable, the number of cases continues to rise in the disenfranchised community. Building community means nobody should be invisible. Learn more about Doorways at doorwayshousing.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. I'm so proud to recognize Doorways, the only agency in the region dedicated to providing housing to individuals living with HIV and their family members. Doorways sees to it that clients receive on-site services to manage their lives, opening doorways to independence and opportunity. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
The South Park creators are doing okay, in case you're wondering. Which, again, if you've seen South Park on Comedy Central, it's one of those shows that's always on, kind of like Family Guy and everything else.
Saturday Night Live.
South
SNL.
Park just reached a streaming agreement with Paramount for $1.5 billion.
So
It's $300 million a year for 5 years.
how are they going to live off that?
It's just streaming alone.
No, they're
That's
still
a
on.
great-
They're still on Comedy Central, right? Like they still do new episodes. I don't watch a lot of South Park anymore. I have a thing with animation. I have a very difficult time watching animated stuff for some reason.
So my guess is not, because what Paramount bought was the global streaming rights for Paramount for South Park. So
Is this
wouldn't
why they couldn't afford Colbert anymore? Because they just paid
Is
1.5
Paramount
for.
Colbert?
Yeah, the Paramount's that's the parent company.
is Comedy Central under Paramount?
Yeah, they're all.
Okay.
It's crazy
Okay.
how many networks are owned by one conglomerate.
Then yes, then I guess they would be on Comedy Central. It said Paramount was eager. It says it was eager to bring them home because previous corporate managers had licensed South Park to HBO Max, but that's obviously a rival to Paramount's streaming service. So Paramount decided we're taking South Park back. $1.5 billion.
Dude, that's a lot. And it is very difficult to follow who owns what and who was it? Oh, it was the guy from Workaholics, and he was in Pitch Perfect. What's his name? I can't think of it. Dark-haired dude. You know what I'm talking about. Not Adam Levine.
Adam Sandler.
Adam Devine. That's it. Just doing it. He was just talking an interview. He was doing an interview where he was talking about the Workaholics movie. And it was Paramount Plus, where they were ready to film the movie.
Yeah.
They had everything set. They had gotten all of the crew and everything ready to go. And then Paramount just decided, okay, we're not doing it. It just with weeks, like 2 weeks before they shoot. So he and that group said, well, let us shop it. Let us have this project. Let us take it to Netflix. Let us go there. And Paramount's response was, well, we will let Netflix make the whole thing, and then they can lease it from us. So they were saying Netflix can produce the whole thing, pay for producing it, but only get to lease it for a couple of years and have it on their platform. And then it belonged to Paramount. And Netflix said, no, we're not doing that. So it's weird how.
Well, it's going to get more confusing because I think Paramount is now it's preparing itself to be sold to Skydance Media. That's David Ellison's group.
Okay.
I didn't even know Skydance was buying Paramount.
Is David Ellison, is he related to Larry?
You would think so. Otherwise, Ellison is
The
a pretty
Oracle
lucky
guy?
last name to have.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would think he is. That's total speculation. But yeah, so Paramount prepares to be sold to David Ellison's Skydance Media. It's very confusing. It's kind of like food. Doesn't Mars Company own everything?
Okay. It's something like that. I don't. Yeah, you might be right. Like the food is like that. Like Nabisco. Sometimes there are so many of these big companies, these conglomerates, that I don't remember which company is in charge.
Yeah, Mars owns like all the the candy that you're thinking of, but also like Pedigree pet food and Greenies. It also owns Wrigley brands.
Oh, yeah, like the gum and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Coca-Cola is, I think, the main brand that owns a bunch of other smaller things, right? That's nuts. I don't know if I want to read this story.
Is it sad?
It's kind of awful.
Come on.
Did you see this Chesterfield guy? Daniel Hardcastle, 46?
No.
Well, Chesterfield police have said this dude put a groundhog in a metal cage and then lit it on fire. And he used gasoline to do it. So if you know this Daniel Hardcastle, that guy's a real piece of crap.
That's so sad.
Yeah, so they have arrested him, and he admitted to doing it. He admitted to everything that he has done. They also found some narcotics on scene when they got there, charged with felony, animal abuse, and unlawful possession of a firearm. So this happened out in Chesterfield.
And he filmed himself doing it and sent it to another person. That's how the police have hard evidence.
Like what a dude.
He said he told the police that, quote, he was allowed to kill animals.
Okay. Yeah, you might be, but you can't torture them. You're not allowed to do that.
Jeez, that's awful. Well,
I'm sorry to bring that one up. Yeah. Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, joins the show next. He's with us every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. We'll talk more about this $1,000 baby bonus. Learn more about that. A lot of other financial news to get into. Dave Simons is next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Rochelle talks about her experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It was a wonderful experience. I had heard about them on the radio. They come out to your house. They let you know what they do. They let you pick out your features, your colors, and then they come into your home the morning they start. They walk you through, this is what's going to happen, and you leave for a few days, and you come home, and it's done.
Was it easy?
It made it easy because you're not in the middle of a mess for 2 or 3 months. Left on a Tuesday morning, and it was done on a Thursday night. We came home Friday morning early because we were so excited.
What was your reaction when you first saw it?
Wow.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Now is the perfect time to start on your next success. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start August 13th. An accredited state university, University of Maryland Global Campus, offers online and hybrid courses. Plus, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits towards a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shea.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Ms. Glover, right now choose from payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest, plus a free in-home window and energy assessment. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
It is 10 o'clock and we have partly sunny skies and 84 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey. Israeli airstrikes have killed at least 20 in Gaza.
Palestinian health officials say one of the strikes hit a refugee camp near Gaza City, and there are reports of heavy bombing in areas previously spared major fighting. The camp strike killed around 12 people, including women and children, while another hit crowds waiting nearby for aid. The strike had torn apart tents and left some of the dead laying on the ground, according to footage shared by the Health Ministry's Ambulance and Emergency Service. An overnight strike also landed on people waiting for aid trucks in Gaza City, killing more people, hospitals say, and wounding well over 100, according to the Palestinian Red Crescent. Israel, meanwhile, pushed on with the new incursion in the area that's largely been spared heavy fighting during the 21-month war. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has renewed his offer to meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end to that war. However, Kremlin officials dismissed chances of a high-level meeting, citing significant unresolved issues. There are new questions about some never-seen videos of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Author Michael Wolff says former Trump advisor Steve Bannon conducted 15 hours of interviews and media training with Epstein, prepping him for a 60 Minutes interview that would never happen. Bannon claims he wasn't media training Epstein, but working on a documentary called The Monster about Epstein's perversions and how the global establishment encouraged and rewarded him. Now, Wolff tells The Hollywood Reporter Epstein paid Bannon to media train him and would never have allowed the tapes to be used in a documentary. It's not clear if the tapes still exist. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Could St. Louis Public Schools be downsizing again? A new report called Reimagining St. Louis Public Schools recommends a significant cutback, eliminating more than 36 schools and leaving 31 remaining. The report will be presented at tonight's Board of Education meeting. Emergency sirens in St. Louis County have undergone an upgrade. The new system splits the county into 3 zones, only sounding the sirens when a warning is issued in that zone. The system is also automated, according to Director of Emergency Management, Michelle Ryan.
The link between the Weather Service and our software will be what triggers the sirens going forward after September 1st.
Ryan says the previous system, done manually, usually took under 30 seconds to sound. She says now it will become the fail-safe plan should the sirens not activate automatically. Actor Malcolm Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54. Costa Rican authorities report that he drowned Sunday afternoon after a strong current pulled him into deeper waters while swimming. For Black youth and teens growing up in the mid-'80s, The Cosby Show offered something rarely seen on television at that time. Sitcom characters who looked like them portrayed in a positive light, and Warner's Theo Huxtable was the one many related most to.
Sunshine and some clouds, hot and humid this afternoon with a stray thunderstorm, high 92, then partly cloudy and warm tonight, low 78. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, very hot and humid, high 98. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it is 84 degrees in downtown St. Louis. At 10:03, I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. For over 65 years, Renner Garage Door has delivered top-notch service, sales, and installation. Get your free estimate today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Well, it's Tuesday at 10 o'clock, which means it's time to talk to Dave Simons, partner and managing director at One Private Wealth. Dave, we're glad you could join us today because we've got a lot of questions for you.
Well, hopefully I am the answer man. And thanks for having me, as always, Amy and Chris.
Remember wasn't there a Bible answer man? Wasn't that a
Yes.
radio show?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
You could be the money answer man.
I like it.
Yeah.
The new mantra. Yes,
Yeah,
let's go with it.
I like it. Okay, well, one thing that I had recently read about, Have you seen these Trump accounts for babies?
Yeah, as part of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
Yes.
And that's the official name of it, by the way, Trump accounts, just like Roth IRA was
Oh.
named after Senator Bill Roth. It is officially called a Trump account.
So that I didn't know. I thought the Trump accounts were what snarky, headline writers were calling it, because it's the Wall Street Journal said that Trump accounts for kids come with $1,000 and tax complications. So they're IRAs for babies.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Well, here's the deal. There are a lot of complications, but let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
This country, one of my pet peeves, one of my lamentations has long been the fact that we need to do a better job of helping young people, including like kids, save something for retirement. We know that pensions are a thing of the past. We know that the future of Social Security is going to be called into question, not so much for people of my generation, but younger generations, and especially kids. We don't know what that's going to look like. So we've got a potential crisis, and I don't say that lightly, potential retirement crisis in the ensuing decade. So anytime that I see Congress finally getting involved and saying, look, let's do something. This is not perfect, but just to keep it basic, yes, if you have a child born between January 1st of 25, which of course is this year, through December 31st of 28. So this is not yet set in stone into perpetuity. This is more like a pilot test case. So we're talking about 25, 26, 27, 24 years. If you have a child, you have to apply, and the government out of the Treasury sends you $1,000, actually puts it right into that account. Now, I did some math. Let's say that you put the $1,000 into an S&P 500 fund just to follow the market, which you probably should do. And then it becomes, guys, you need to understand, it becomes like a traditional IRA at that point. It grows tax deferred. And then when that child is an adult later, after 59 and a half, and can start to access it, so let's say 60 years, and they just get a market return, you get a better than 100 times return on your money. So 1,000 turns into literally 101,000. But let me go one step further, and this will be the headline grabbing, shocking number for you. People can, parents, grandparents, friends, relatives, whoever, are allowed to put in an additional 5,000. You can match that up until the child turns 18, and then no more match. No more money can be put into it. If someone were to do that and put in the additional 5,000 every year for 18 years and then let it ride at S&P 500 returns, the initial 1,000 from the government, that kid becomes an adult at age 60, and now he's sitting on $4.8 million. That's not some made up number. That is simple math, and that's at 8% return, which is slightly less than the long-term average. I think this is a great start, but it's not perfect.
Okay, so I mean, because that seems like a pretty astounding number, and obviously there are some limitations on it. I know that if you take it out early-ish, maybe when the kid's in their 20s, you would pay a 10% penalty. Does that sound right?
Yes, it is. It's just like a traditional IRA, which means you can pull money out for education costs. So in a way, it's like a 529 in a way. You still have to pay tax, but no penalty. You can also use up to $10,000 for the purchase of a first-time home to help you with, a down payment, which you can do in your traditional IRA as well. But anything beyond that, no, you cannot pull that money out before 59 and a half. Or you'll get hit not only with the tax, but a 10% penalty.
Okay, a quick question, because it feels like a little bit like, well, too good to be true. You may as well take the money. So you open the Trump account, right? It's $1,000.
Yes.
Compound interest, all of that is great. You mentioned if you contributed $5,000 a year, which you're allowed to do. And that number you threw out there, the over $4 million,
Yes,
is
yes.
impressive. But if you were going to contribute $5 million or $5,000 to your kid each year, is the Trump account the best IRA to do it? Or is there another account where you said, well, if you're going to set aside $5,000, this is an even better way to do it?
And therein lies the most important question, because the answer is yes, there is a better way to do it. So take the 1,000 that the government's giving you.
Okay.
And let that ride, and hopefully it'll turn into the 100,000 someday. Based on inflation, it won't feel like 100, but it's still going to be something. But if you want to add extra money for your kids, the 529 plan is the best way to go, because then you get to pull the money out tax free. Unlike the Trump account, you'll have to pay tax when you pull the money out. The other thing, of course, when that kid gets a little bit older, let's say as a teenager, and then starts to have some income, you want to open a Roth for that kid if you want to give. Say, hey, I know you're only 16 years old and you only made a few $1,000. I don't need you to invest that money in the Roth. I, as your parent or grandparent, I'll invest what you made in a Roth. The Roth is the holy grail of investing. The Roth is the best vehicle for long-term, tax-deferred, and someday tax-free growth. So you're exactly right, Amy. I think if you really want to help a kid or grandkid out, open that Trump account with 1,000, but then look at 529s, and someday when they have income, Roth accounts. Now you've set that child up for long-term success.
We got the news about General Motors and the hit they have apparently taken on the tariffs. It was a $1.1 billion tariff, and so their profits are down 35%. And this is from the Wall Street Journal today. So are we going to see more of this, more companies reporting stuff like this in the future?
I think so, Chris. In fact, that's what I've been saying all along. I do not think that tariffs are going to be an economic-wide hit. I don't think it's going to affect the entire economy where GDP drops a full %. We go into some kind of correction or recession. I mean, we can always go into a recession, but I don't think it'll be based on tariffs. So investors have to be very selective and look at the obvious industries that might be hit a little bit more. There's an important date coming up, as you know, August 1st. That's when apparently, what the Trump administration has been saying, that it's non-negotiable, that all these countries that they've been giving these 90-day pauses and breaks, no more. Freedom days are over. And August 1st, if we haven't negotiated with you or come up with a plan, that's when some of these 20, 40, even 50% tariffs come into play. And because of that, I've been frankly a little surprised at how sanguine the financial markets have been as we approach August 1st. I really believe the big boy and girl investors out there don't think that it's actually going to happen. Either we're going to start to hear agreements in the next, 8-9 days, or Donald Trump and his cohorts are going to give even more extensions. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think Wall Street's voting that way.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
No, yeah. So, I mean, you're the bottom line on that is that the reason things have not gotten worse, or this is the question: the reason things have not gotten worse is because these larger companies, investors, don't really think he's going to go through with the tariffs fully.
And because they're using past experience, we know
okay.
We know that TACO acronym, right? What that stands for.
Right.
Trump always chickens out. Trump supporters don't like that. But that's what a lot of investors are going on. And they're looking at this that, no, it's not going to be as bad. This is a negotiating tool.
Mm-hmm.
This is pure Trumpian way of doing business, and it won't be as bad. So not to scare anybody, because this is no prediction at all. But if we really go through with this, and August 1st is the hard deadline, and we see immediate 30 to 50% tariffs on selected countries, this market corrects. No question about it.
Well, yeah. And I know, again, all that focus, especially on the largest bilateral trade and investment relationship with it, which is the United States and Europe. And I, like you said, are people just thinking there's no way he would take this down?
Well, that's right, and I would happen to agree with that. That's why I don't think it's going to get to that point, Amy. I really don't think that we're just going to go right up to that midnight deadline. Nothing happens, and okay, here you go: 50% tariffs, selected countries, 100% tariffs on selected products. Because we've seen the warm up act on this back in April, and it was enough to get Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and others to get into Trump's ear and say, Mr. President, this is horrible. And it's not so much the stock market, which is correcting, but the bond market, which is really the true foundation of this economy, is starting to freeze up a little bit. And thus was born the first 90-day pause. They know this. They've seen how the market reacted. They know the same thing would happen. So I happen to be a little bit in agreement with how Wall Street is treating this. I don't think we're going to get to that point. But if I'm wrong, like I said, just don't look at the headlines. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Don't look at your 401k statements the next week.
Quick question as we say goodbye. How much is this talk, regardless of the deadline, how much of this talk is banding together the EU? Because there are countries in Europe that are skeptical of EU trade policies. They can butt heads. Are they starting to work together more?
100%. We're starting to see trade deals between some of these countries that would have never done trade deals before. And the best arbiter of this is always stock and bond markets. Yes, our U.S. stock market has performed very admirably this year, better than a lot of people expected. However, European stock markets have done even better. Some Asian markets have done even better. If you live in a foreign country in Europe and you're investing in your home country, you are actually outperforming the U.S. this year. And that's based on more spending that's occurring within their home countries and more trade deals that are being done that are very favorable.
Dave, we appreciate you. Let's talk again next week.
As always, thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your week.
That is Dave Simons, partner and managing director at One Private Wealth, with us here on KMOX. A lot of weirdness going on downtown, and another death at the Justice Center. It happened again. It is one of the worst places, it seems, in America. More on that. Also, Mark Sweeney, former Cardinal and analyst for FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. He's going to join the show at 10:30. You might as well stick around with us. Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey in studio with Gloria Liu, broker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and St. Louis's real estate expert. Gloria, while most agents make big promises, you're known for your upfront written guarantees.
My name is My Promise. While many agents promise you an unrealistic sales price just to get your business, I'll provide you with an upfront written guarantee stating if I cannot sell your home for 100% of market value, I'll pay you the difference.
Gloria, that's what sets you apart from others and why I recommend you. Folks, why risk working with just any agent when you can work with the best? Gloria Liu guarantees your sale price upfront and in writing.
Absolutely. And if I don't, I will pay you the difference. The agent you choose in this changing market matters and could cost you or make you thousands.
Sell your home with certainty, confidence, and for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Calling all soccer fans. The Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Are moles tearing up your yard? Don't let these lawn invaders turn your beautiful property into a mess. Rottler Pest Solutions offers professional mole control services to protect your lawn from damage. Visit Rottler.com today to schedule your free inspection.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Well, Ranj, another detainee at the St. Louis City Justice Center died on Saturday. He was placed in a restraint chair following a fight inside a cell with another detainee. This is according to the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Samuel Hayes, 31, is the man who died. He had a fight with another inmate that happened around 8:20 p.m. And he was found unresponsive at 10 p.m. Now, I was listening to, this was Samuel Hayes Jr., I was listening to TIAM this morning following up on this story because we know the City Justice Center has had a lot of issues over the past few years, especially, I think since 2020 now. This is the 20th inmate, at least 20, but I believe it's the 20th inmate to die in the past 5 years or 4.5 years in the City Justice Center. Of course, earlier, the City Justice Center had the riots. The inmates were breaking windows, setting things on fire, throwing flaming chairs and sheets out the window onto the street below. The locks didn't work for several years, which again, a jail pretty much has one job, and that's to lock. You know, the doors need to lock. That's that's what makes a jail different from any other room, really, is the locks, and you can't get out. And the locks didn't work. And of course, that, you know, we joke about the locks not working because how is it a jail? But when locks don't work, that also means inmates can interact and fight. You know, there was also the allegation that the city, some of the jail workers in the City Justice Center were allowing inmates to fight and kind of watching the fights take place. So it's been a mess. But I mean, for all of the problems, it's a pretty big deal that yet another person has died in the CJC. And I believe the authorities are still waiting for the video, because when you place an inmate in a restraint chair, there needs to be video the entire time. You have to document it the entire time.
And this was after a fight. You mentioned the fight, and he was restrained, as you mentioned. And I don't know, the police department, Mitch McCoy, the spokesperson, said that detectives didn't find any physical or external signs of trauma. That doesn't mean there wasn't any on him. It's just possible they didn't see it. You know, at first glance, I suppose that could be the case here. And whatever you think of people who end up in the Justice Center for whatever reason, you know, they've committed a crime or are accused of a crime, There's a reason they're there in the moment.
Mhm.
And you might be thinking, oh, who cares? Like, who cares about that person because they weren't a good person? Whether they were or not, we're supposed to make sure that we're treating prisoners humanely. That's the whole thing, is that we don't do it like other countries do it. And there are some other countries that are humane with their prisoners too, but we pride ourselves on being better than that, on being better than lousy conditions for prisoners and, dangerous conditions for them. And I'm certain that's not always the case, because we know prison is still a very dangerous place, depending on where you are. But they've got to be treated better. You can't have that. And no matter what these people have done to find themselves locked up in there, this kind of stuff can't happen.
Yeah, no. And again, this is the 20th death at the City Justice Center since 2020. There's no green space at the City Justice Center. We know the conditions were squalid and inhumane. This is the same City Justice Center where inmates talked about toilets not working, feces on the wall. Like, I don't want to keep going into detail, but that's just the beginning of it.
Sure.
Inmates given, calling, yelling, can I have a rag so I can clean up all the junk that's on the floor and on the walls? I mean, really inhumane. And it's highlighted even more because the previous mayoral administration, Tashara Jones, ran on shutting down the workhouse, which was the medium security prison. And again, there was some bad history with the workhouse. Now, they did do $6 million worth of repairs and renovations. I know Charlie Brennan and I walked through there with Judge Jimmy Edwards, and there was green space. I mean, it's still jail, but there's green space. The detainees, the inmates can walk around. They can play basketball. There was space to move around. I didn't see or smell any mold or anything like that. And again, this was post renovations. I'm sure there were issues before, but there was so much focus on the workhouse. How has the City Justice Center been allowed to operate like this? Like, where Ben and Jerry took out, the ice cream people took out a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal to close the workhouse in St. Louis. I think they had no idea what they were talking about. I don't think they visited, as much as I know. But the City Justice Center continues to be a horrific, for lack of a better term, hellhole, it seems. But
yeah,
why
I don't
is there, that would be something that I would think, well,
I mean,
maybe the renovations, the locks, which they recently fixed, the people who work there, what is going on? Why is it such a...
I don't know. I mean, but I would say the fact that the Justice Center sucks doesn't mean that the workhouse didn't also suck. But I think that,
but at least there were ostensible changes made, and $6 million worth of changes and repairs and renovation, if you want to call it that. I guess,
but there must have been a problem
confused
there originally, obviously.
Well, you're right, which I acknowledged. But again, this was several years ago, and what I do know is that 20 people didn't die in those 5 years that the 20 people died at the City Justice Center.
Well, this is the first time Mayor Spencer has had an inmate there die while she has been mayor. And she issued a statement saying that she's committed to overhauling the jail system here. And I don't know how difficult that would be to do. I just know it needs to happen. Like, you just can't have that. I mean, I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it got to the point where it feels like extreme neglect that nobody is doing anything about, but that has to be fixed. I mean, it's just one of a million things in St. Louis that still needs to be fixed, but it does have to be addressed. I don't know if it's the most pressing thing, but it's up there.
It's pretty pressing.
It's a thing that you got to fix. I mean, we talk about all kinds of problems that St. Louis has and what we need to do to attract people here. I'm not sure the City Justice Center is the thing that is or is not attracting people to St. Louis, but it's still, we're talking about human beings that need to be taken care of no matter what they've done.
Oh, yeah, this isn't a tourist issue. This is an ethical issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Cardinals baseball, they had a bad weekend, but they won last night in Colorado, which you're supposed to do against that crappy team. And we'll talk about where they're going next, where we hope they're going. Mark Sweeney is a former Cardinal, and he is with FanDuel Sports Network Midwest as an analyst. He joins us next on KMOX.
This isn't your typical lunchtime baseball chatter. This is the Gas House Gang.
I'll say this. Here's my perspective.
Tom Ackerman, Chris Ronchi, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Miklasz bring smart, informed Cards talk. And every Tuesday,
we welcome in the manager of the Cardinals, Oliver Marmol.
You want real Cardinals conversation? You're in the right place. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of baseball.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So, if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Currently, it's 86 degrees, real field temperature 106. Sunny today, very humid with a thunderstorm in spots, a high of 91. Tonight, clear and uncomfortably humid, a low of 76. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If something happens to you, what happens to your family? Will they struggle financially? Will they be able to afford the home you built together? With Ethos, you can get life insurance coverage in minutes. Get up to $2 million in coverage for as little as $2 a day. All online with no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Get your free quote at ethos.com/life. That's ethos.com/life. Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX.
Tonight, the Cards, the Rockies. Cameron Total Access 645. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cardinals started the series in Colorado with a win. They beat the Rockies, who are historically terrible. But they do get that win last night. They'll be back at it tonight, 6:45 pregame on KMOX and a 7:40 first pitch from Coors Field. It's time to talk a little Redbirds baseball with you. We've got former Cardinal and FanDuel Sports Network Midwest analyst Mark Sweeney on the show today. How's it going, Mark?
Chris and Amy, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are happy to have you. Let's start with the weekend because that is not the way you wanted to do it. Coming out of an all-star break and wanting to make a statement up against the trade deadline. So it did happen where they got swept. So in the immediate aftermath of that, before they even get to Colorado, what are your thoughts on that series and what it means for them?
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, the need for both teams, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Cardinals, was to get off to that good start. And the Diamondbacks have really played uninspiring baseball predominantly all year, and they're a very talented group. And that being said, it's just the Cardinals weren't ready for it. The starting pitching is the key to getting off to, one of those hot stretches. That's what the Cardinals have been doing, getting decent starting pitching when they win, getting a lead, and then turning it over to a talented bullpen. They just didn't get to that spot. And it was a frustrating series. And I think you felt it, when we were in the locker room, what was going on. But I always try to tend to get to the players' mentality. It's not about their losses and feeling bad about themselves. It's about what's next. And if you can get in that mode, I think the coaching staff, Ollie does a great job of that. Getting back on the same page and getting to Colorado and knowing this is a series, not only do you have to take, but you're hoping for that sweep.
Yeah, so let me ask you about that because we, especially in the first couple of months of the season, we talked a lot about how this team was never out of it. They never got blown out. They always fought, and some of it can become a cliche that this team always fights, and it's one pitch at a time for this team. Like you hear stuff like that a lot, to where it almost means nothing sometimes. Is there something different about this team in the way they, at least in terms of atmosphere or in terms of attitude, that may not necessarily always lead to wins, but it is beneficial to them?
Yeah, I mean, Chris, it's cliche, but also it's the feeling in the locker room that you start the season off with. If you get off to such a rough start, it's hard to identify yourself. And every single year is completely different. It's not necessarily cliche. You heard Wilson Contreras talk about it after the game with Jim Hayes. We need to have more fun. And when they say that, that's what they've already created. And it's easier to have fun when you're winning. But this team plays with a looseness and a camaraderie that gives them opportunities. Are they going to dominate teams? I don't think so. It's not that type of team, but you also see the fight in them. You've seen it before. So you have expectations, excuse me, when they're behind the backs against the wall. We didn't see it in the Arizona series. So you start questioning that again and what's going to happen in the second half. But you saw it last night. Contreras' home run changed the dynamic of the game. I do believe if they get on a run, they have a good series here in Colorado, and they get home and they have a very tough series against San Diego Padres. Those are games that are utmost importance because we know what we're getting to. We're getting to the trade deadline.
Okay, so how much of it, in your opinion, we're talking about a particular attitude a team might have. How much of that comes from the makeup of the players themselves or the manager coaching staff of the team? Where is that lie?
It's first and foremost the players. I mean, you have to have that grit. Listen, the easiest example is Brendan Donovan, the All-Star, but he goes out and he's a lunch pail guy. And but he enjoys he has fun with this group, but he brings that certain intensity. Wilson Contreras last night has 3 hits. He's doing great, but he's the energy. When he's not hitting, how do you still become and bring that energy that you have to have? I mean, that's what the individual does. That being said, I think Ollie and his staff are constantly communicating with these guys of what they need, how they need to play the game. They can't look back and look for a 3-run homer. They have to chip away with all kinds of different stuff, do the little things, moving runners. And also when they get RBI situations, they have to cash in. And when you do that, you're able to win games on a consistent basis because, again, the strength of this club is the bullpen. You get a lead, you're going to win most games, and that's what's proven definite with this Cardinal team.
Mark, I know you talked about attitude, and you also brought up starting pitching, how that's key for the Cardinals. And I get that you need to be positive and keep pushing forward, but I know sometimes it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect between the team and the fans. I know, like Miles Michaelis, he's having a rough season. His ERA is over 5. He's struggling. He's not looked good. And he, in that post game against the Diamondbacks, after he gave up those home runs early, said, yeah, 2 bad pitches, both homers, but beyond that, pretty solid. And that can feel almost flippant to fans when they're watching the game and saying, man, you are not doing well. Like, he's struggling. You don't have to be an expert. So are you surprised that that's his response? Do you feel like, oh, no, that was a solid outing?
Well, Amy, here's the thing. I've always taken to this because as a young player, you're influenced by a lot of the veteran guys. And I've always said this for a long time because we had one of those team meetings when I was a rookie with the Cardinals. And all of a sudden, Ozzie Smith stands up at the end of our meetings, which everyone talked, veteran guys. Mm-hmm. And Ozzie says, hey, listen, guys, let's understand something here. I've never seen a guy try to fail. And it's perspective. As a player, you have a mindset that today's my day, and you react to that. What they say after the game to a reporter or an interview is really influential to the fan base, and it should be because this is a passionate fan base. I just look at it as individualized. Not one player goes into a game thinking they're going to fail until you're going against a certain club that makes you look bad, like the Arizona Diamondbacks. We just went through that. They made them look bad, especially the starting pitching. This team needs to be mentally stronger and also more intense to what's in front of them. For 162 games, sometimes that's difficult to see, but from the fans' perspective, they deserve that as well. And I'm not minimizing that. Mm-hmm. It's just, as a player, you have to think positively. Coaches try to do that as much as possible, get you in that good space, because mentally this game can drive you crazy. So it's individually, but also collectively, they have to play a certain way. And when they do that, I think it's a fun team to watch. When they don't do that, they look like a lesser competition, in my opinion. And that's what we saw in Arizona. So as for Miles, as for Erick Fedde tonight, these guys have to be better. We all know that. And they have to go out there, give the team an opportunity to win a ball game.
What are your thoughts on Michael McGreevy? And we had Wilson Contreras after the game yesterday saying that he thinks McGreevy should stick around, the young pitcher. And we know that, Amy just talked about Michaelis, and Erick Fedde, who starts tonight, has had difficulty. So what are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, Michael McGreevy deserves to be in the big leagues, and that's my opinion. Listen, there's dynamics of the roster, who has to be here, all that type of stuff. But Michael McGreevy, to me, is a big league pitcher. Last night, he showed very well because he threw 7 innings. But I'll tell you this, his stuff wasn't pinpoint last night, and he still has opportunities to win ball games. That's some of the things that you get to see. And he executed last night. He gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning, and you felt like, hey, man, this is wavering a little bit. Here we go again because we've been behind this whole road trip. He shut them down and gave the offense an opportunity to come back. There's a lot to love about Michael McGreevy. He didn't miss a lot of bats last night. He only had 1 strikeout, but he didn't walk anyone. And he set a tone for what the game really was. He was aggressive, and there's a lot to love. That's the reason why in this whole situation, I believe he should be part of this staff moving forward, because this is a guy that you have big expectations for.
I want to talk about the rest of the division because I see now that the Milwaukee Brewers, for the first time in a long time, are now in first place. They have overtaken the Cubs. Cardinals are 8.5 games out behind the two of them. So here are the Brewers again. This is a former team of yours. I would just like to know, what the hell, man? Like, why does this Brewers team keep doing this despite all of the talent they have lost over the last couple of years? And manager. They lost their manager, too.
Yeah. And you know what? I think Pat Murphy has been a nice, refreshing change, I will say, because he has a different mentality to try to get the most out of this roster. They've had young players step up. They've had people that have developed, but they're ready for a big league atmosphere. They didn't start very well. They weren't catching the baseball. They were making mistakes a lot. They've changed that dynamic. Obviously, they've had pitching come up. The Mizorowski kid has influenced their mentality of what they have to go along with Freddie Peralta. But this is a talented team that knows how to win. They've won the last few years and created that atmosphere of expectation. And I also say this, too. The Cubs got off to such a great start. It doesn't always stay that way. And the Chicago Cubs have had a great year, but that doesn't mean anything until you do it. I think the Milwaukee Brewers have done it before, and they have expectation.
Mark Sweeney, analyst for FanDuel Sports Network and former Redbird, former big leaguer, with us here on KMOX. We appreciate talking to you, Mark. Thank you for being with us today.
Chris and Amy, I appreciate it too. And hopefully we get another win tonight and sweep the series tomorrow and get back to St. Louis.
Need a good streak, man.
Oh,
we need like a good, let's get us a good 7-gamer. What do you think of that?
I like that. It sounds great to me.
Yeah.
I had the least insightful observation ever, but it really is. Winning is fun. I miss winning.
It's really fun.
Winning is really fun.
Let's
sure
go.
Is. Amy, the food tastes better, you sleep better, and all of a sudden the fans get excited. There's a lot to that. Yes.
There is. I know. I love it. I like winning.
Oh, winning's great. Thank you. Unless you bet against the team, but don't bet against the Cardinals. Don't do that.
Never.
It's not good.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, Mark Sweeney. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
That is
Have a great day.
You too. That is former Cardinal Mark Sweeney. And again, you can watch his analysis on FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. He's really good.
11 in a row for the Brewers.
Dude, I'm gonna stop making baseball guesses. 2 months ago, I said they were dead. And then as soon as I said they were dead, like for real, they've just played stupid. They have the best record in the National League right now. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Hey, remember how Southwest used to be great? Southwest Airlines?
Yeah.
Because of all the things they used to do? Well, now everything is different.
Yeah.
They're really screwing up. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. We'll get more into that next on KMOX.
Well, you can avoid screwing up by visiting Rottler.com. Rottler.com. Schedule a free inspection for what you may ask. Well, for really anything that may be plaguing your home. I've talked a lot about mosquitoes outside and how that can absolutely ruin a party. And you don't want to deal with mosquitoes. If you've got little ones or maybe a dog, some pets outside in the yard, you don't want fleas or ticks. Well, Rottler can take care of that. But moving indoors, this always happens. You're hosting a party, you're having friends over, you're doing something, and you notice ants on the counter. And maybe you hadn't noticed them before, but you've certainly noticed them when guests are coming over, and when there's one ant, there's an army. And did you know that ants are the most difficult pest to control? That's why you need to call Rottler. They'll determine the type of ant, they'll determine their nesting site, and they'll develop the most effective solution to eliminate the infestation at the source. They'll take care of ants, which again, not only are they gross and pesky, but it's just embarrassing. And I don't know why they're so hard to get rid of. That's why you need Rottler. Visit Rottler.com today to schedule your free inspection.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We started Neoviten because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neoviten 50 Plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician-formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neoviten 50 Plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neoviten.com.
We can get more sleep, we can get more sun, and we can get more exercise, but the one thing we can't get more of is time. It's time to eliminate the one phrase that could be holding you back from reaching your retirement goals. I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's time to pick up the phone and make the call to Gary Goldberg and the team at Financial and Tax Strategies, 314-991-9005, or online at checkwithgary.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Centaurus Financial, Inc., an FFC registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Gary Goldberg, NPN number 918615.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
I honestly don't know the last time. Actually, it might have been about 2015. I think it's been about 10 years. The last time I flew a plane, I mean, not myself.
Whoa.
I was on a plane.
Oh.
I was on a commercial airline that wasn't Southwest. I love Southwest. I loved the informality of it. Usually it's less expensive than a lot of the other airlines. I don't mind the free-for-all of picking your seat when you get on. I loved the fact that the bags were checked.
Yeah,
or
free.
Checked for free. You don't have to pay for those. They're just a completely different airline now. All the things that made them a big deal for people are different. They're more expensive. Granted, a lot of things are more expensive than they used to. Now you got to pay for bags if you want to get them checked. And now, beginning January 27th.
Yep.
So that is coming up in less than a year. January 27th, you will have assigned seating on Southwest Airlines.
So
And I have
do
to tell you,
you get to pick your seat,
well, I would imagine. Yeah.
and you got to pay more probably to pick it.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't mind change. I don't mind progress, of course. I don't like something that was working fine. And it was a different option than what other airlines were doing.
Yeah.
And I know they're talking about how their revenue has been down and they have to do something to combat it. Come on. You didn't have to do all this.
Yeah, it is. It is totally. It's a different airline now. And I will say, I kind of understand why they moved to assigned seating. So many people were doing the early bird anyway. And then you have the Southwest card. And then you have the people who fly business and or fly for business. So buy a lot of tickets. And so sometimes you could buy an early bird, pay extra for early bird, which means you should be in the A group and generally towards the front of the A group, and you could be B1 with early bird because so many people were doing it anyway.
Right.
I guess they just saw the writing on the wall and thought, we can't sell early bird passes and then put people in B20.
I'm sure it's it.
I'm
and
sure
this
it has
is,
something to do with that.
yeah, so they can pay more now or they can charge more now for people to get real, true priority seating.
So
And that's what this is about. This is about the folks who are going to
Yeah.
pay that extra money and are willing to.
Because if you're still economy, if you're very an economically minded person, you don't have to buy early bird so you can save money, or you don't have to buy the assigned seat. Unfortunately, the only way to check a bag for free is to get the Southwest card.
The credit card.
The credit card.
Yep.
I don't have the Southwest credit card. My brother does.
I used to years ago.
Yeah, we were talking about this. He flies a lot for work, and he was kind of irritated with Southwest changing their rules, but he said, but technically it won't affect me because I have the Southwest credit card. But on principle, it's a little irritating that it's turned into every other airline. I will say this, though, Ron. The first time I flew Southwest was 32 years ago. Flew to Phoenix, and they still had the seats on the plane that faced each other.
Oh, like in the middle?
In the middle of
Yeah.
the plane. So like I went, my
Yeah.
mom was pregnant with my little baby brother, and we sat facing each other like you could on a bus or on a train. It was weird. I'm glad they don't have that anymore.
I don't mind it if you
wanna
know the
face
person
a-
across from you.
I don't want to face a
Or
stranger.
if it's a short trip,
Yeah.
like an hour flight to Chicago or something, I could get down with that. But
Yeah.
the fact that Southwest has completely changed everything, I guess now I just have to fly Frontier. I've heard great things.
I think I never get points because I feel like when you're always looking for the cheapest ticket, you just bounce around to every airline. So I feel like in the last 10 flights I've taken 8 different airlines. So I have no points.
This text message is this messenger is misusing our text line.
Oh, come on, guys. No.
It says, I hate when people pick their seat in public, if you know what I mean.
Listen, this text
This is
line
grow
is
up.
this is not for people. Like
No.
we don't want you to text 314-436-7900
Yeah, grow up.
with stuff like that.
Grow up with this childish stuff. I don't want to see that on the text line at any point in the next hour or so. At 314-436-7900. Hour 3 of the show is coming up next. It is Shark Week, baby. It is Shark Week, and Keith Poe, shark expert and shark tagger, who's been on, he's a friend of the show. He's coming up next. He's been doing this for decades. He's super interesting, and we're going to talk to Keith next on KMOX.
This Siteman Cancer Center spotlight how innovative immunotherapy is showing promise against aggressive T-cell cancers. Dr. John DePercio.
Patients have come here from all over the United States and, in fact, all over the world to get evaluated and treated for this treatment. We hope that this can be continued, that we demonstrate in a clinical trial that it's safe and effective, and that ultimately it will be approved by the FDA so it's available to everyone in the world.
For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Hey guys, Glover here for Universal Windows Direct. Right now, you can choose from payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest, plus a free in-home window and energy assessment from the leaders in the window business. Been with these guys now for a while, and they have treated treated me very well and my listeners very well. Many of you from the DGS have reached out to get a quote. As you know, they're always in the middle because they are just a solid company. Call 314-334-2522. Like Neil be saying, I love my windows.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
It is 11 o'clock. It's partly cloudy, 86 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. The UN warning of a growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, saying that more than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed trying to get access to humanitarian aid.
Foreign ministers of 25 countries said that the Israeli government's aid delivery model is dangerous, fuels instability, and deprives Gazans of human dignity. They condemned what they called the drip feeding of aid and the inhumane killing of civilians, including children. Israel says that last month they reorganized the approach routes to aid sites, but civilians have continued to get killed.
CBS reporter Linda Gradstein in Jerusalem. Opponents of Alligator Alcatraz in Florida continue to press state leaders to abandon the idea. Today, the Florida Immigrant Coalition held a news conference where they say the center violates people's civil rights. This is Ruth Jean Noel, a first-generation Black Haitian immigrant mother, wife, and community organizer living in Miami.
We're here today on stolen land, Miccosukee land, in the heart of the Everglades, to say loud and clear, we will not let this become the site of a new human rights disaster.
We don't know nothing. We haven't seen them yet. They ain't telling us nothing. So we just like to hear something about our son.
That's the father of Samuel Hayes Jr., the man who died in the custody of the City Justice Center in St. Louis this weekend while strapped to a restraining chair. The family's attorney, Jack Waldron, says they hope the new administration at the City Justice Center is more transparent than the previous one.
There's an administration that claims it's going to make a difference and make changes and be transparent. And our hope is that this administration does follow through with what it said it was going to do.
The family is asking the jail to release to them the tape of their son while he was restrained. A Texas family's dream of a better life in Russia seems to have turned sour.
After leaving America and its liberal ideology behind, Derek Huffman joined the Russian military so he and his family could be fast-tracked to Russian citizenship. He apparently thought he'd have a non-combat role, but then wife Deanna posted on their YouTube channel that he was being sent to the front line, untrained and unable to speak Russian.
He feels like he's being thrown to the wolves right now.
That post has since been pulled. No word on where and how Derek Huffman is now. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
This afternoon will be hot and humid with sun and some clouds and a stray thunderstorm, high 92. Partly cloudy, uncomfortably warm and humid tonight, though 78. More sunshine, very hot and humid for tomorrow, high 98. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is partly cloudy, 86 degrees at 11:03. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Now look when she turns sideways, how she's solid black everywhere. No blue.
Wow.
No purple.
That looks like a white
No
shirt.
white. And look how far back her tail is.
A mako that big would take down great whites.
And then she just started destroying the buckets and tearing them off the boat. It was mean as hell.
This new darker mako is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Oh, wow. Black Makos of the Abyss. I'm nervous already. Remember how we interviewed the Golden Knights, the Army's parachute team,
Yes.
and how they were all
Not the hockey team.
not the hockey team,
Yeah.
but the actual show parachute
Yep.
team that they're always coming to. They jump at Forest Park, and they're really cool and fun.
To be
They were all,
clear, that's not the only place they jump.
no,
You make
but they
it
did
sound
come
like-
to St. Louis.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they are terrified of the water. These guys jump out of airplanes for a living.
Mhm.
They just they hang over the edge of the plane and look out like it's nothing. And I'm terrified of what they're doing. They are afraid of the water. And they say, because you don't know what's down there, I can at least see what's in the sky. And to talk about Shark Week with us, because it is Shark Week happening right now, Keith Poe is a shark expert and shark tagger. He's been doing this for 30 years. And the Shark Week team has discovered some unusual black makos off the California coast. And Keith is with us to talk about it. And by the way, Black Makos of the Abyss tonight on Discovery at 9:00. Keith, how you doing? It's good to talk to you again.
Good morning. Good to talk to you guys again.
All right, tell us about these black makos, and should we be afraid of them? Because I'm scared now.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to swim with them. They're very aggressive. I've only seen about 3 of them in 30 years, and I've seen over 5,000. So 3 out of 5,000 is quite unique. And they're here in Southern California. And the times that I've seen them, they've been extremely aggressive, and they look completely different than the other makos. So it's a mystery that are intrigued by, that we want to unfold.
So you mentioned that they're different than the other makos, which tend to be more like dark blue, I guess, or gray. So is it really a new quote unquote discovery, the black makos? They've never been seen before?
Well, no one's described them before that I'm aware of, but they do look like a longfin mako, but there are some characteristics about them that aren't the same. And generally, longfin makos are dark like this, but they're skinnier and longer. And this shark is very bulky and extremely aggressive, and it was beating up all the other sharks and wouldn't let them near the boat. It kept biting the boat and tearing the buckets off the boat.
Wow.
So it's very unique in that regard.
So they're aggressive, right? Are they more aggressive than typical makos? And then what are makos compared to, like, I've always heard that tiger sharks and bull sharks are really aggressive. You know, we all think about the great white because that's the Jaws shark, right? But the bull shark, tiger shark, from what I understand, are way more aggressive toward humans. Where do these makos fit in?
Okay, well, if you look at the exhaust ports on a mako and a great white compared to the sharks you're talking about, tigers and bulls, they have a much larger gill section, which means they're much more active and have a lot more power and strength and endurance. And the makos here aren't like makos in most other places. These here seem to be predominantly predating on marine mammals like great whites, so they're very aggressive in that regard to begin with. But this black mako is just...
I think we lost Keith.
Nope.
Is he there? Nope, we lost him.
Nope, we will get
That
Keith
was
back.
That was one hell of a cliffhanger. These black makos are just what? What
I'm
about them?
looking at the picture of the black mako shark, and its teeth and gums are horrific.
Yeah, I don't know, man. These.
Do you go in the ocean much, Ron?
No, I don't need to. I don't need to go into the ocean. I can be perfectly comfortable just standing on shore and looking.
What I like about the Gulf side of Florida is that the water is so clear that if you are like on a stand-up paddleboard or you're just swimming in the ocean, you can kind of see what's coming at you or what's beneath you. But man, I've seen sharks, like little sand sharks that maybe are a couple feet long. I've seen those in Destin, but just knowing there are these big old sharks out here. If you're a surfer in California, you fall off your board. Have you seen that video that's gone viral of the professional surfer who, I don't know, is swimming out to where he's going to go surf or whatever, and all of a sudden he starts thrashing in the water?
But I don't know, does he die?
He did not die, but he was attacked by a shark.
He did not die. Okay. Keith Poe is back with us. We have reestablished connection. And you were about to say something about the black mako. You said the black mako is just, and then we lost.
Yeah.
So we are assuming you were about to say the most dangerous thing in the world.
Well, just let me tell you, in the show, we're going out to try to find out what is the deal with the shark, what makes it different from the other sharks. We're trying to figure out if it's just a pigment situation or if it's a normal mako, a regular mako that has a custom cool paint job on it, or if it's a mutant that has some sort of darker color that's from a genetic factor or from environmental factors like pollution off between Palos Verdes and California, or between Palos Verdes and Catalina Island here in Southern California. There's a toxic dump out there where there's barrels all over the ocean full of DDTs and PCBs, and we don't know if that could be one of the factors. So we're looking into that, and we don't know if it's possibly, but very unlikely, two different species that have gotten together. So those are all the things that we're looking at, and then we're trying to figure out what it is about this shark that makes it so unique. I took into was going to get genetic samples and tag the black mako, but unfortunately the times that I ran into them, I wasn't on permit. So you can't do that unless you're on permit. So and during the show, that's what we're trying to do is catch one, tag one, and get the genetic sample and figure out exactly what it is and come up with some answers for everybody in the show.
The show you're talking about is Black Makos of the Abyss tonight on Discovery at 9:00, and Keith will be a part of that show. He's featured there, so you're going to want to tune in tonight.
Okay, I know that in so many areas, Keith, ignorance is bliss, and we've all seen people who've done things and go, "Oh man, if they only knew." If they only knew how dangerous that was, they wouldn't do that. I look at surfers. We were just talking about a pro surfer who was attacked by a shark. When you see surfers like off the coast of California or wherever it may be, you, knowing what you know, do you think surfers are crazy? Would you say I would absolutely never surf because I'm sitting fodder for the sharks out there?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of things to take in consideration when you think about that. I don't get in the water because every time I go to the water, all I see is giant marine mammal killers that eat animals the size of me. So,
all right. That's not okay. So but you're out there, right? Like you're well offshore. If you're a beach goer, would you get into the water, right off the beach?
I would in most places that are very populated, but if it's a marine mammal area where there's lots of marine mammals there, I would not get in the water because that's generally where the adults congregate. But generally speaking, in Santa Monica Bay and up and down the coast in Orange County here, you just have juvenile great whites there, and they're eating halibut, skates, and rays on the bottom, and they have no interest in humans whatsoever, and there's no danger there. But sometimes you have the subadults that are around 9-10 feet that are transferring from fish eating to marine mammal eating, and they might take an opportunity that could be an accidental human bite. And but generally just investigating, and they're transitioning, and then they'll move over to the areas where there's just marine mammal haul-outs, which are generally not where most places are really populated. They're in very remote locations, and that's why the marine mammals have hauled out there, because they feel safe away from humans.
You know, in St. Louis, for some reason, a lot of us St. Louisans go to Destin, Florida for vacation. And I never, ever pictured sharks in Destin, Florida, or that Fort Walton Beach area. But I think it was just last year that there were some shark attacks in that area. How unusual is it to have these sharks in Destin? Is it that we've been ignorant, or are those sharks really congregating more in that area?
Okay, I'm in Southern California, and I can pretty much tell you anything you want to know about over here, but I can't tell you on the East Coast.
Okay, because I feel like there have been areas, and maybe there's areas like that in Southern California, beaches that used to be considered pretty populated, pretty safe, have seen an influx of sharks. Have you seen that anywhere in California?
Absolutely. The commercial fishing industry here had a lot of destructive gear that was very detrimental to the shark populations here, and they're doing a lot better job now managing that than they used to, and we're seeing an increase in great whites, makos, and other species here, which is a good thing because we have an overpopulation of marine mammals, and hopefully they'll balance each other out and be healthy for the fishery, and that's what it's all about, the work that I'm doing.
So I mentioned as we were bringing you into the conversation, the parachute team, the Golden Knights, the Army's parachute team, and how they had done their research before they came to St. Louis to perform because of the Mississippi River, and they all knew that sharks have been found in the Mississippi River, so they were afraid to land in the water. How
Keith is laughing
how
at
common
you.
That's what they said. How common would it be for a shark to make its way upstream? I don't feel like it could make its way to St. Louis, but what can they do?
What can they do is, I don't know. If you get in the water, you're always in danger, but I'm not sure of the geographical area and how far up, and if bull sharks could make it up that far or not. But I would generally think that they would be safe. That would be kind of a unique situation.
Okay.
I have a subjective cultural question for you, Keith, and that is, a lot of people became more aware or more afraid of sharks after the movie Jaws. Do you think Jaws was a net benefit for sharks and people relationships, or did it hurt the relationships between sharks and people?
Well, I think it's probably somewhere in between there, because it's brought a lot of attention, which has fostered a lot of research, and people have become more aware overall, I would say, and that's a good thing.
Keith Poe, we love talking to you, and we appreciate it, and we know that this is a fun week for you, and we're looking forward to watching the show tonight on Discovery. So thank you for being with us today.
Have a wonderful day.
Keith Poe, shark expert and tagger. He's been doing that for 3 decades. And again, it is Shark Week on Discovery. So the show Keith will be featured in is called Black Makos of the Abyss. It is tonight, 9 o'clock Central Time. So 9 o'clock our time, and you should be watching that on Discovery. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. This is 104.1 FM KMOX.
Community America is stepping up in St. Louis and showing what excellence in banking looks like. Or in other words, they're winning. Opening more branches? Win. Competitive loan rates? Win. Wealth management? Win. Which now makes sense why they asked me, Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn, to tell you. That's win with 2 N's, not 1. It's time to bank like the Mason winner you are. It's time your financial partner was invested in you. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed, and here's why. It optimizes thyroid function, and it boosts your metabolism 24 hours a day, while you're sleeping too. So you're burning more stored body fat. Also getting that appetite and craving control that I love. You get all-day focused energy with no jitters, so all you need to do is get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California Psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Get insights on the go. Download the California Psychics app today.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. We can reawaken any space to make your happy place your home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600. SNL Coins, 544-3600. Or visit SNL Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL 544-3600.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Just dial pound 250 on your phone and say the keyword Windows. That's pound 250 keyword Windows, or head to rbastl.com.
It's the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium. Explore the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station.
Okay, we didn't get to one aspect of the Gen Z story. You know, the Gen Z is the worst story when we talked about work phishing and Gen Zers accepting jobs, going to interviews, applying for a job, getting the job, and then just for no reason, without any explanation, not showing up for day one. And how Gen Zers are generally more unreliable and employers are having a hard time with Gen Zers. Well, there's another side of this that I will say I haven't yet experienced. Now, I'm not calling a lot of Gen Zers in general, much less Gen Zers I don't know. I'm not calling them. But Gen Zers are apparently answering the phone when they get a phone call, which, again, find like to be that a hole in the story. Really? People answer their phones these days? I don't buy that. But apparently when Gen Zers answer the phone, they don't say hello. As the New York Post put it, I can hear their breathing. Employers are enraged over Gen Z's rude phone etiquette. So when you call a Gen Zer, you dial their number, ring, somebody picks up the phone.
And they don't say anything.
I haven't experienced this, but like I said,
I guess I don't call a lot of Gen Z people.
I know. I was like, the only Gen Zers I call are like my goddaughter or, close family friends, or family members. So I'm not an employer calling random Gen Zers.
Me neither. I call my mom and I call people who are not answering text messages in a timely manner.
Yeah.
That's it.
But apparently it is a thing. It's a YouGov poll taken last year. Found that 25%, now why are these all coming out of the UK? I don't know. But 25% of Brits aged 18 to 24, Gen Z, think it's okay to answer the phone without any form of greeting.
What? There's no way.
Isn't it just intuitive?
There's just no way.
It doesn't. Well, that's my problem, is that not only is it, to me, it's intuitive to be, hello? That would be intuitive. Also, how many Gen Zers are actually answering the phone for numbers that they don't know? numbers they don't recognize.
It can't be
Because
many.
I don't answer the phone when I don't recognize the number.
Sometimes I do, just out of curiosity, and then
Just
I
when you're
realize
feeling
quickly,
risky?
I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Because you never know if it's a scam call. Usually it is a scam call, but sometimes it's not. This is you would think that just by instinct you would know to pick up the phone and say, yeah. You
Yeah.
would say something. You would just talk, right?
So again, 314-436-7900. Shoot us a text. Have you experienced this? Because again, I've had a lot of experiences with Gen Z and that generation for various reasons, tutoring, family, whatever it may be. But I've yet to call someone who picked up the phone and didn't say hello.
Well, there was this thing that maybe
Did you
you
just
had. Like a baby would do that. Because a baby doesn't really know what it's doing when it picks up a phone.
A baby doesn't know how to type in the passcode to answer the phone,
You don't have to have a passcode to answer the phone.
don't you?
I don't think so.
Slide.
Yeah, you just slide
Oh,
it.
wow.
answer.
But-
Slide to the left.
So what is and this reminds me of the Gen Z stare conversation that's been going on the
Yes.
last few weeks. And this
Yeah.
is also a thing that I am unaware of. They just have blank stares all the time. Like they're just staring into nothing. I don't really understand this concept or why it's become a big deal. There's
So-
no way this is an actual thing.
The blank staring, I have heard some personal interactions with that they do get the blank stare. Like they're just waiting for you to prompt them to respond to something that you said. It is so bizarre.
What?
It's so counterintuitive to how like humans, I feel like, just naturally act. Now, a very generous interpretation of Gen Zers not saying hello is, quote, perhaps a prudent measure given the rise of spoofing spams where a bot will call you. And
yes, I know about this.
But here's the thing. I know about that, but you're not supposed to say yes. Like if they say hello, is this Chris Ranji? Yes. Don't say yes. But I've never heard someone say don't say hello because hello doesn't help the AI as much as an affirmative yes does.
And I've always also heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but this is something that I have always heard, that if you say hello when you answer the phone and there's silence, they're waiting for you to say hello again. And then that is evidence of a scam call. And I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I've never even looked into it. That's what I've heard. So if I do answer the phone and it's a number I don't know, I will say hello once.
Yep.
And if they don't, I just hang up. Like
I do too.
Because if they really need me, they'll call back and think they got disconnected.
Yeah, and if the person on the phone says, "Is this Amy Mark Scores?" I say, "May I ask who's calling?"
Yeah.
I just, and then either they'll hang up or whatever, but don't say yes. I do know that. Again, I was listening to another radio station, newsy station, and they were talking about Gen Z and the workplace and how, and again, I get it. Everybody thought millennials were entitled, but how Gen Zers want minimal effort, but they want maximum promotions, or sometimes they don't just show up for work, or the reasons for not showing up for work. And again, this was a true story on NPR about a Gen Zer who didn't show up to work, called in because he didn't get a lot of sleep that night and his eyes were baggy and he was tired and didn't look good and didn't feel that he could present
Well, did he
himself.
work at a skincare store?
I
You
don't
can't
know.
show up looking like
He
that.
didn't show up. Didn't show up because her cat was sick. And so you're hearing these reasons. I have personally known some business owners where the Gen Zers don't show up because they have cramps. And it's like pretty interesting. I can't imagine.
Cramps sound awful, though.
Well, they are. I've had cramps so bad I've almost passed out, but I still showed up for work. The New York Post quotes an employer.
Maybe you should have stayed home.
Have
you thought about that?
Well, I would, but my boss said that's stealing from the company.
Hey, you're using sick days.
You're
stealing from the company.
And
That
then-
vacation day you used, stealing from the company.
So the New York Post quotes an employer who said when the employee didn't answer the phone and, why don't you answer the phone? And the employee said, if somebody calls me out of the blue, what that says to me is they value their time more than my time, and I am not going to talk to them.
Hey, I got to tell you something. I respect the hell out of that.
What in the world?
I respect the hell out of that. That's awesome.
Insane.
Awesome. Completely off topic, but I'm just seeing Chris Higgins from Fox 2, a meteorologist.
Yeah.
Seeing his tweet.
Uh-oh.
And he's got the allergy index.
Uh-oh.
And the mold is pretty high. Mold's at 41,000. The next one, plantain.
Like the bananas?
I don't know. It's like there's a plantain allergy. Could you have plantain allergies?
Was it supposed to be plants?
No, it says plantain. What in the hell is that?
Have you ever had fried plantains?
Not allergic to those.
So good.
Hey, it is midday midlife week. We've been covering it starting yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk to a couple of ladies here in the building. Annie Fry of the Annie Fry Show. You know about her, a 97.1. Trisha Everding, who is here in the building as well. The assistant brand manager for 97.1. We're talking about kids and the decision to have them or not have them and where you are at this point of your midlife. We will talk to Annie and Trisha next on KMOX.
The Dave Glover Show.
If you sit down with me and we talk about who I am, what I am, my values, political, voting record, you're never going to walk away and go, that guy's a bleeding heart progressive. I'm just not stupid. And I just don't take bait. And I just don't do things because you tell me to, or that I'm afraid that if I don't, fall in line or get on the bandwagon, people aren't going to like me. Been there, done that for years.
The Dave Glover Show, now on FM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions. So it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Vira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Currently, it is 88 degrees, but it feels like 108. Feels like 97 degrees in the shade. Very humid. Could be a thunderstorm. High of 91. Tonight, clear and uncomfortably humid. A low of 76.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
We are Metro Transit. We don't just help ourselves and our neighbors get where we need to be. We help our whole region get where we want to be. Get on board at rideonmetro.org.
How many of you think taxes are going to go up in the future? And if they do, who will be hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Tuesday, August 26th or Thursday, August 28th at Fleming's. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Fund your retirement, not Uncle Sam's. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Home title theft. It's on the rise, and it's devastating if it happens to you. Listen to the alarming words of an actual home title thief.
I don't need to know your date of birth and social security number. All I have to do is go to public records, create a document, and file that document. And then I can borrow against the house or sell the house. You may have no clue until you find out that your house has been sold or till several loans or several banks are foreclosing on you.
For pennies a day, Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier of protection around your home's title with 24/7 monitoring. The instant they detect any tampering, you'll get an alert. And that's bad news for home title thieves. So when's the last time you checked on the title to your home? Find out if you're already a victim with your free title scan and complete title report. $100 value free with sign up. Just go to HomeTitleLock.com and sign up in minutes. That's HomeTitleLock.com. HomeTitleLock.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You've heard of Old Town Donuts, but did you know they were voted the best donut shop in America? That's right, and they've got 2 locations right here in Florissant and Cottleville. Stop by Old Town Donuts today and see why they're the best donuts in the country.
Tonight, the Cards, the Rockies.
Cameron Total Access 645.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, yesterday we kicked off our midday midlife conversation. And again, just want to clarify, not middle-aged.
It's different.
Midlife. It's very different because that's offensive. 35 to 45, right? It's kind of that midlife where it's a weird age when you still feel young, but you lived a lot of life. Some of your friends might be getting married, some might be getting divorced, some have kids in college, some are just having kids. So it's a crazy time.
Some are at a Coldplay concert.
Some at a Coldplay concert. That is the voice of Annie Fry from the Annie Fry Show on 97.1.
Great to be over here. Thanks for inviting me.
We've got Annie in the conversation and Trisha Everdeen, who we talk about Steve and his boats. You are the Steve equivalent on the other side over there down the hall.
Correct. Yes. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Where are your boats?
Yep.
You chose not to get boats in your midlife?
So we worked. Michael Kelly was in for Chris yesterday. He was at jury duty. Michael Kelly and I were talking about kind of the 30,000-foot view of, are you where you thought you would be at this age? And then it got into marriage, it got into kids. And just to kind of set the table here, I think people who listen know, I'll be 42 soon. I don't have kids. That's a surprise to me. With you, Annie.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have? And 4. Okay. When did you start having kids?
My husband and I got married at 23 and had Charlie, who is 15, when I was 25 years old.
25 years
and
old.
Now I look back and think that might not have been a responsible decision. That seems really young to be having kids, but that kind of was the plan.
Yeah.
And that's the type of, you said you grew up in a traditional home. I grew up in a very traditional conservative values, Christian home. And, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get married, you start a family, have a career. That's the way I planned it out. And that is kind of the way it went. But I will admit that I loved my life. I have no regrets. But I kind of did that because that's what you did.
Right.
That was the plan. I found a wonderful man who loves me and we wanted to start this family together. But I'm very blessed in that way. But I didn't really ever consider what else there could be. It just is what I felt like I was set out to do.
Not that you have regrets or anything, but do you have times where you wonder if you should have thought about other things, other possibilities, other paths?
Like one of the things my husband and I have talked about, we were both born and raised in Edwardsville, Illinois, across the river. So we've grown up in Madison County. And by the way, I just realized this weekend, Missouri people speak in counties. Illinois people don't. Have you ever noticed that? You're an Illinois person.
Oh, yeah. No, we speak in towns.
Yeah. So Madison, it's just another thing. We don't even know where anyone goes to high school in Illinois. But we've talked before about, we both went to SIU Edwardsville, both got communications degrees there. My husband went back and got a teaching degree, but we just stayed home. Our whole life is rooted in Edwardsville, Illinois, essentially. And sometimes my husband's a huge Notre Dame football fan. We've gone to Notre Dame to watch football games before. And you go take in like the history and the pomp and circumstance of a university like that. And you think, well, you didn't really have that at SIUE.
Yeah.
And we kind of wonder, like, what would that have been like? But it would have changed the course of where we are. So you do think a little bit about what you didn't have. I'm blessed that my life choices have worked out the way they did, but it's not regret. It's not, gosh, should I have done this? Because I know that I wouldn't have what I have right now. But you do wonder. You can't help but not. I started in sports talk radio. I worked at KFNS for 3 years. Wanted to be a sideline reporter. That's why I got my TV radio degree. And then I'm a smarter person than this, but it took me a few years into doing that to realize I'd be on the sideline nights and weekends, and I wanted a family.
Yep.
So I moved over to news talk. So I got pretty far before I was able to realize that wouldn't be conducive to the family life that I wanted to have.
Good thing is news only happens during business hours.
That's true. It does, in my life, it's noon to 3.
It's over at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. It is so interesting, like you said, things like, I wonder why that didn't occur to me. I mean, we've all had things like that. And Trisha, and just again, like you and I are the same age, both 41. Trisha, you're 36.
36, yep.
And you recently had your first baby.
Yeah, he just turned 1 last week.
So with you, went through your 20s, early 30s without kids. Was that something that was planned? Did you want to wait until later?
No, well, I didn't have the same. I was actually kind of antsy to get out, right? So I went to SIUE as well. I didn't go to a big college, but I thought, I'm going to move. I'm going to move to a big city. Well, I made it to Soulard. So
that's bigger than the city I was living in.
That's pretty much where it stopped.
The big city.
That's right. Close. I landed in Soulard. And now, and thankfully, I met my husband and we figured out life together, but it took us a while to realize, okay, we want to get married. We want to have kids. We do want that traditional lifestyle. And then we started getting up against a clock, right? So we finally got married, and then we started kind of working backwards, like get closer to home, move back to Illinois, get closer to mom and dad. Okay, do we have time to have a family? Do we want more than one? Do we have time for more than one? So all of those questions. So there were a couple of years in there where we genuinely thought, like, I don't know if we've waited too long. Like if we jumped the, yeah.
Did you ever have or do you have it now? Because it seems like most people I know are always thinking about what their plan was. And I hate the 5-year question. Where do you see yourself? I have no idea, dude.
That's like
I don't know.
That's the only way to guarantee you won't be there in 5 years.
Right. It's like, I don't, so, but
I'm not going to manifest that.
And you said, Annie, that you pretty much have done what your plan was for the most part.
Yeah.
Right.
I had wide barriers on where we were headed, but little bob and weave, but still on the same course.
For either of you, do you ever get to the point where you think about, man, I was supposed to be doing this by now? Or at this point, I should have had 2 or 3 or a different house or whatever it is. Do you ever have those feelings?
You had.
Yeah, yes, very much so. More so once we got to like early 30s. We started looking around and trying to take stock of where we were in our careers and our life and our family. And it was like, maybe we shouldn't be at bars every night. Maybe we shouldn't be renting. Maybe we should be thinking about home ownership. Maybe we should be thinking about all these different things. And then we had to hurry up and try to figure it out really quickly. So that caution to the wind, we're going to live our best lives. We did that and we are very, very fortunate that it worked out the way it did, but we did that for just long enough, right up to the line to where we almost missed it. So yeah, I did for a long time.
I think that you kind of wonder what's on the greener grass. You think about what is over there. So my son, Charlie, when he was born, was the first grandchild on both sides. And I don't think anybody else was even thinking kids at that time. He was the first baby among all of our friend groups. So we had this like new toy for everybody to play with. And everybody was like, oh, baby. But at the same time, all of my friends if they were married, they were traveling. They were doing the things that they wanted to do. So it's interesting to sit on the other side. Like we started early. My husband and I originally had said that we wanted to have kids early. We figured we're going to be broke when we have kids no matter what. So we might as well figure it out while we're young and we have the energy for it. And then we'd rather have our money in a young retirement or be younger and freer with our kids having moved on. And then I had a baby in 2021. So I've got a 4-year-old at home. Yeah. So we really did spread it out and everything. But I don't think that anybody can look at their life, and you have to be honest and say, you're looking at what people who are not doing what you're doing, how nice would it be for that? But you don't know, they're looking over at you saying the same thing. So, I'm a Christian, and I have faith that I'm on a path that God has set before me, and I'm happy to follow that. But it's very human to want what other people have and to forget about the things that make your life a blessing or how you are a blessing to other people because of the life that you're leading. So that is, for me, has to be a very active participation in mindset. And when everybody else is out there having fun, living in the big city Soulard and going to Mardi Gras, and you've got, a toddler running around and a baby on your hip. And, I loved it. I lived in Hamel, Illinois. It's kind of the country. And my husband was going back to school to be a teacher. I could be on either side of that going, I kind of would like to have the other thing.
Right. I know it's so interesting in what you said, with being a Christian and faith being a big part of your life. And that's how it is for me. And I grew up, like I said, pretty traditional. Grew up homeschooled, 4 of us, all homeschooled. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and homeschool. And, the big question was like 4 kids or 5 kids, and it never in a million years occurred to me that I wouldn't have kids. It's almost, and like I said, I'm 40, I'll be 42 this week. And it's almost an out-of-body experience because I decided not to go to college. I wanted to keep writing. You don't necessarily need a degree to write.
Sure.
And I didn't want college debt if I was going to be a stay-at-home mom. I stayed involved in the homeschool community for almost 20 years, like teaching, helping other homeschool moms to keep up that skill set. And years go by, and I had some great opportunities with writing books and working with the blues and getting into radio. But it was always subconsciously when I grow up, when I grow up and get married and have a family. And when I grew up and get married and have a family. And then it kind of got to the point where it's like, okay, it won't be 5 kids. I looked at the clock. I'm like, okay, it might be 4 kids, maybe it'll be 3 kids. And it's so weird because, once you come to the realization that, oh my gosh, like that window's closed. And I know technically, at 42, but I'm not,
sure,
going to have a family now. And there's a lot would have to happen that's not going to happen. And I'm not doing like, any other ways of having kids. Like I would kind of be the traditional way, get married and all that. And what you said, being human and thinking, how did this happen? And wrestling with God over it, like the past couple of years, but then also ultimately trusting him like, okay, well, I've had so many great experiences and I know this is what I thought would happen and it's not going to happen. And I'm grateful for where I'm at. And like you said, sometimes I think, well, I think I've kind of gotten selfish, because it's just been me until my 40s. And so now having kids sounds like, oh my gosh, that is such a huge responsibility. And you quote unquote, never get your life back. You know what I mean? Like it's not your life anymore.
Yeah.
But it's weird. Like I'm still working through that realization.
I think I think we have to go to a break here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Soon. But I just want to say before we do that, if you're wrestling with God over something like that as a person of faith, that's like a biblical thing, wrestling with God.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we don't have time for this, but I could tell you of all of the different types of struggles and hardships that my family has gone through. While yes, I've had 4 kids and that family, but everybody has those struggles. And my understanding of faith is that when you're wrestling with God, God wants to wrestle with you. Like he wants you there with him. So I don't want to put out there some sort of like, oh, I'm a person of faith and I got everything I wanted, because that's like the opposite of what faith is. Really, life
is hard.
Yes, it's very
life
difficult.
is hard for everyone.
Yes,
yeah.
Annie, Trish, want to hang out for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
All right, it's Chris and Amy show on 104.1 FM KMOX. Right back.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
Hey, it's Matt, your Leaf Filter Trusted Pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey in studio with Gloria Liu, broker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and St. Louis's real estate expert. Gloria, while most agents make big promises, you're known for your upfront written guarantees.
My name is My Promise. While many agents promise you an unrealistic sales price just to get your business, I'll provide you with an upfront written guarantee stating if I cannot sell your home for 100% of market value, I'll pay you the difference.
Gloria, that's what sets you apart from others and why I recommend you. Folks, why risk working with just any agent when you can work with the best? Gloria Liu guarantees your sale price upfront and in writing.
Absolutely. And if I don't, I will pay you the difference. The agent you choose in this changing market matters and could cost you or make you thousands.
Sell your home with certainty, confidence, and for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Annie Fry, Trisha Everding with us here on our final segment. It's Chris and Amy show. Gas House Gang is coming up. Ollie Marmol will join the show here. We got him for about a half hour. So Trisha was talking about, and we are in the middle of our midlife conversation that we are having for
Crisis.
the entire week. Well,
We're trying to be more positive around
I think I've been
here.
having that since 25.
It's midday,
So-
midlife, ...
And so, Trisha, you were saying something interesting during the break about after having your first kid
Yes.
a year ago,
Yep.
how there was a moment where you're like, oh no,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd be lying if you set me up there. I'd be lying if I said that once he got here, I was like, yeah, this is rainbows and sunshine and everything I ever wanted, because we had a very established routine. Like, we were set in our ways. We had bills figured out, sleep figured out, exercise figured out, food figured out. The dog was happy in bed with us every night. And the first few months, I more than once, but not a ton. And I don't feel this way now. I thought, what have we done? Like,
Yeah.
we have made a mistake. We were good and now we're not. And there's no end in sight.
So,
Because it's a form of human torture to be
Yeah,
awakened multiple times in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's really hard.
And my husband's asleep on the couch. The baby's asleep over here in a basket near a closet. The dog doesn't know if he's allowed to come in or out. I haven't slept
Dog's not
for
allowed in. Dog has to stay
weeks,
outside.
and it's, it was, there were some really dark times there at the beginning where I thought we maybe should have reconsidered this.
when did that go away?
6 months in. I mean, it was never a constant thing where the
Yeah.
whole time I was thinking, wow, we made a mistake. I want to give this thing back. But I
You don't wanna
Put it back.
You cannot return it.
It
You don't
was
wanna do
too
that.
late.
Yeah.
I actually had a dream that both my dad and Steve told me that it would be okay if I put the baby up for adoption.
Oh my gosh,
That-
why was Steve in that conversation?
Why is Steve Moore?
That nobody would judge
Because
me.
Steve wants her to be here.
Well, that's what I think. It was my
Think
subconscious.
this through. That's the most sensible thing she's said so far.
Did he tell you when you were on maternity leave that you're stealing from the company? Because he said that to me.
Have you
on
ever told
vacation.
Steve that?
I did. And
Okay.
he said I would judge you. Because in the dream, he was like, nobody would judge you. He's like, oh, I judge you.
That's really,
Yeah.
really good. But like you said, it's that up and down. Yeah, it's so funny. Annie nailed it with like the grass is greener. Probably at that point, you might have thought like, oh my gosh, what have we done?
The first kid is super challenging. though,
Yeah.
because the sleep deprived thing, like, it doesn't matter if you have a kid or if you don't have a kid. If you're going through something that's depriving you of sleep,
Yeah.
you can't make rational decisions as well when you don't have sleep.
Not thinking.
And then when
clearly.
you look forward to, I don't know if I'm ever going to sleep again. That becomes a little burdensome. So you have to figure out with your partner, like, how do we do this together? And you have to be willing to ask for help. And when people say, oh, what can I do? You say, come over and hold my baby. I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
That's
And
like the best thing.
you said you're vocal about this on your show. It's also okay to not love being pregnant.
I hate it. I've said God made me hate being pregnant. I've got 4 kids and it's the worst thing ever.
Imagine if you loved it, you might have 12 kids.
Yeah. No. It took me about 3 or 4 years in between each one to be like, fine, I think I could do this again. But throwing up every day got worse with every
Ugh.
pregnancy, can't sleep, everything hurts. With every kid that you have sequentially, you've got to take care of the other ones and still try to be a present mom. I worked through the whole pregnancies, miserable, but worth it. So
It's so interesting. This is where I just go back to life is interesting. And, we talk about faith. I'm glad I have faith to get me through, because life is hard whether you have faith or not. Like, life is hard for people, period. And there's things that you go through. And I think right now, just to be clear, like, wrestling, with God over it, not doubting him, but just talking to him, going, wow, this is hard. I'm grieving this. And the grieving is kind of an up and down process. I think I'm in a really good place. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a time when there's a sad moment again, but then you come back out of it. And like you said, being a parent, there's really hard times, of course, worth it because there's the joy of your kids, but it's kind of a roller coaster on either side, probably.
Trisha, yours is too young for this, but Annie, do you remind your children how difficult they were?
Yeah.
Do you know how much trouble I had having you? Say I had so much trouble having you, so get in line.
Well,
does it work?
Other than my son, other than Molly, my youngest, they all witnessed me be miserable. I mean, they would hear me. They'd know if I got up and left a room that I was throwing up in a bathroom or something like
So
that.
they'll
They knew
appreciate
it.
you.
They know.
They better.
Yeah.
Go do your show.
They're good kids. Yeah, I gotta go.
Thanks for coming in here.
Ryan Wiggins just wrote in a message to me, betrayal. Hey, Ryan, you hear me on KMOX?
She's having a much better time, Ryan. Annie Fry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Trisha Everding, thank you for coming in.
Thank
Chris
you.
and Amy show will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. But coming up next, Ollie Marble, part of the Gas House Gang, Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me next on 104.1 FM.